extends. Iran in the all-red kits with a bit of white trim, attacking from left to right and trailing 1-0 with Saudi Arabia in the home all-whites with a bit of green trim. This is the first action in round 4 of World Cup qualifying for both these teams. And before we went out to the halftime break, Brian, we talked about maybe what Iran needs to do in terms of maybe getting a little more possession in the midfield, and in particular, important possession around the offensive third. But if you're Saudi Arabia, do you just keep it business as usual and continue as you did in the first half?
No, I think so. They've done such a great job defensively, starting positions alone, closing down that space. And it's really the quickness. It's been one of the surprises in the first half about how quickly they can go from defense to offense, getting the ball forward, supporting with numbers, and then when they turn the ball over, look at this immediate defense. They force the defenders to clear the ball. That allows them to drop in, quickly get the ball back, and it's not that high percentage passing that we're used to seeing from the Iranian midfield.
Saudi Arabia back in possession here.
Right here, you just see the 50-50 challenge. And from two Saudi Arabian midfielders closing down that space, that's been really the difference today. When that ball goes in, there's immediate pressure, not allowed those free touches.
Nice turn up top. Is the final ball there for Saudi Arabia? Not this time around. And Tamurian will send it back out the other way. Not the cleanest of clearances, but then a whistle and a free kick here for Iran. Right side here for Iran, trying to penetrate. This is better. Shot deflected out, I think by his own man, actually. And now Saudi Arabia pushing it through Bin Sultan, who was tripped up right on the center stripe.
You see another lunging tackle from Aguili, the center back. He's been so classy in the defense tonight. Strong in his headers. Coming through tight, trying to stay with the men. Right there. Deserved yellow card. But that's been some of the differences. We talked about it throughout the first half. When to step into the midfield. And right there, you can tell for the first time we're seeing a true check with Bin Sultan, not allowing him to get the ball off his feet, hitting him from behind, just letting him know that he has pressure from behind.
Second yellow card handed out by Mark Shields. Bin Sultan for Saudi Arabia in the first half, and now Aguili here for Iran. Little chip into the space. Bin Sultan, one defender to beat. The second one comes over to help out. And out for a throw here for Iran. Zareh with the throw down the sideline. He'll move it up about 15 yards further and try it again. A couple of changes, getting himself ready here, maybe for Iran as we head into maybe the latter stages of half number 2.
And then number 14, Kariri, one of the players that we thought we'd see in the start.
Chance here for Iran to equalize. Down to his right. With the save goes Mansour.
And the question is, why is the trigger not pulled the moment you skip past two defenders at the top of the 18-yard box? We've seen the ability of Iran just to get those half chances, but their inability to pull the trigger.
And of course, right back the other way comes Saudi Arabia. Big service to the back post, just over the crossbar. The goal scorer, Sada Harthi, had a good look at it.
And And you see the late run coming from the top of the 18. Al-Harthi and Zari just can't get there in time, but he's able to just put enough pressure from the outside right. Al-Harthi not able to keep his head down. That's a second great look for Saudi Arabia, and ideally they should be up 3-0 at this stage of the match.
He just couldn't get his head up over the top to get it in a downward motion. Here's Iran searching for the equalizer here as we're into minute 51. A little better though, they're finding some opportunities to put the ball through. Left-footed shot, a bit of a weak one off the left foot of Hashimian.
And you like the idea that Hashimian's doing, getting a touch, getting a half opportunity, just a quick shot. Right there, another look at Shojai and why he doesn't pull the trigger. So many touches, trying to manipulate the ball back and forth. Here's another look from Al-Harthi. He's got to knock that down. Just enough pressure from the outside left back, Zari.
Hashimian with pressure there, and it goes out for a throw here for Iran. Shojai puts it back in play. Timurian swings it in with the left foot, cleared away at the back. Long ball over the top. Al-Harthi will give chase. Pops loose here in the midfield. Al-Shalou couldn't come up with a clean touch. Second time around, though, he'll gather up possession here for Saudi Arabia. Just the number of passes that Saudi Arabia seems able to link together compared to Iran. Clear discrepancy between the two sides. Room to work as Abdullah came over to shut things down. Iran don't hesitate to put it back in play. Timurian asking for it.
And you just see Iran having to take one too many touches. Because Saudi Arabia is closing down that space, it's always numbers up defensively. It's usually a 2v1 or a 3 versus 2. They're able to recover the ball quickly. And when Iran's trying to get that ball movement, they're having to take more than one touch to try to really put themselves between the ball and the defender. Right here, you just see the doubling up pressure from behind. That time, Aziz and Atif doing a good job putting that pressure on Rezai.
And now this will be an opportunity here for Iran to serve in a quality ball. Zandi with the left foot standing over it. Headed clear by the Saudi Arabia defense. Is there a second look though here for Iran? Served in. Rezai serving it in, and the follow-up chance well wide of the target.
Once again, really not seeing any clear-cut scoring opportunities for Iran. Having to pull the trigger on just these half chances. What you'd like to see is Hashimian, really that point player, not having to be pulled out to the wide flanks. And Shojai pushing up in quicker support.
This is much better from Iran here to begin half number 2, at least having some runs attacking inside the offensive third, although the service not there that time.
With the way this game's playing out, you'd have to think the best opportunities from Iran are going to be from set pieces. It's going to have to be the quality of service, the hard, strong runs, really taking advantage of the size. Mansour
lumping this one forward. Aghili First time clearance, flicked into the space. Offside flag is up. And Brian, this seems like one of those type of games where, because Saudi Arabia has had the chances to add to their lead, and only in front 1-0, it keeps Iran hanging around. And as you said, whether it's a set piece or that one chance that they break through, they're only a goal down.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. If you can't start putting teams away with the chances that Saudi Arabia's had, while Iran hasn't been playing the best, it only takes one opportunity, and we've seen it time and time again. How one simple breakdown and the team's right back out.
Into the area, loose ball, good hard tackle at the back from Tukar.
And we talked about Iran earlier in the Group 3 stages of qualifying, going on the road, 3 wins, no losses, 3 draws. And you start to see why Iran's been successful, is because they can find a way to stay in the game, even if they're not playing well. A 1-0 scoreline in the 57th minute on the road, it's not that hard to overcome.
To put it back in play here. Settling in at the midfield here for Saudi Arabia.
We're starting to see a little bit of a tactical adjustment from Iran, pushing up Sojai almost to a parallel forward spot with Hashemian. That initial defending line, that's going to allow breakdowns like this. The problem is, can you counterattack? It's 2 versus 6, and you see the closing down speed right there of Abdullah. You've got to be able to get the ball off your feet and then look to support quickly or get in behind. And for Iran, doing a better job in the second half. It just needs to be that final touch a little bit faster, a little bit quicker, and a little bit more precise.
Well, I think that, along with the fact that in that case, Hashemian all by himself over in the corner, not really much help around him. Here comes Iran, though. Nice little surge forward up the right side. Rizai was looking for some support there, but instead he turns it over. And now Al-Shalhoub with the long ball forward. Good collection just outside the 18. Free kick here for Saudi Arabia.
And Aguili's going to have to be careful. Already sitting on a yellow card for a tough tackle in the opening minutes of the second half. We've seen him come from behind right here. It's not a lot, but you're just bumbling over the forward. You're reaching through the legs. And kind of just a silly time to dive in. It's the top of the 18. You're in that middle range distance, so it's a bit easier for a player to come over, strike the ball up and over the wall. What you like to do is just force the player backwards. Or if anything, force him wide and backwards if you can. Just not the spot you really want to reach in, especially through his legs.
And this one a little closer to the top of the 18, so Saudi Arabia certainly could take a crack at goal. Left-footed chance! And the save at the back by Ramati. First corner of the second half here for Saudi Arabia.
And 2 well-taken free kicks from about 25 yards out from both squads. First it was Nekonam. This time, ball up and over the wall. Nice little save by Ramati.
Iran not out of danger yet, though. The corner here, driven in toward the heart of the area, and then cleared away. Clumsy challenge on the far side results in a free kick here for Iran. They quickly take it into the feet of Timurian. Big switch looking out wide, but an errant ball out.
Right there's a perfect example. If you have a good team defending mentality, you close down with numbers, especially if you have forwards that are willing to work off the ball. Not too often do you see forwards that are willing to run from behind, look to close down that space, but right there, just a little bit of a pressure, forces the wayward cross, ball out of bounds, and you get the ball right back.
Timurian back in support. Now the ball over the top. Shojai. Out wide. Looking for his own space is Masoud Shojai. Goes back to what you said in the first half, though, Brian. The minute that Iran get any type of possession, Saudi Arabia seemed to close things down so quickly, there's not really much room to operate.
And it really seems like a fitness issue, which is the biggest thing between both teams. You're defending so much for Iran, having a really difficult time recovering the ball. Once you do, legs look a bit heavy. Here's another look, ball up over the top. Good little save, had eyes for the corner. And well taken from Al-Shaloub.
Ramati adding maybe a little something extra there on the end. Looked like he shuffled his feet over pretty good to get there. But what goalkeeper doesn't have a flair for the dramatics, right? First change for Iran. This one will go in favor of Saudi Arabia, as the tackle a little bit reckless there at the back. Harthy couldn't pick up possession there. Iran looking for an opening here as they surge up the left side.
With the number 15, Rizai coming out, bringing in the number 10, Khatibi. A little bit more pace, and at this point in the match, you need all you can have. For Iran, doing a better job in this second half than what we saw in the first half as far as possession is concerned in the offensive third. At this point, Ali Daei having to make that change, down 1-0. Good time with 25 minutes left to bring an introduction in, allow him to get his feet wet, get some of the ball.
Nice little switch across to the corner of the area. Al-Harthi trying to play it back up to the top of the 18. A lot of defenders there for Iran, and the ball couldn't get through. Play rolls on here. Atif. Inside, nice little dummy. Good chance here with a left-foot effort from Bin Sultan, a misfire.
And you like to see your defensive mid, Atif, get all the way up, get into the attack, be the creator. And another good look right there from Bin Saltin. That should realistically be his third goal of the match. We've seen the breakaway. He got stuffed by Ramati. Then we saw the quick little ball from Al-Shaloub in one-on-one, and he pushes it wide. That time, great little first touch initially outside of the right foot, opens up the space for him. And instead of just hitting it laces, he looks to kind of spin it past the near post. And he actually puts a little too much on it.
Meanwhile, we showed you the Saudi Arabia bench there, and it looks like Omar Al-Ghamdi getting ready to come in at some point in the next couple of minutes.
Little pressure from behind right there on Atif.
'66th minute of play. Saudi Arabia in front still on the first half goal from Sada Harti, 29 minutes in. Iran, though, have looked much better here in the second half, starting to create some chances on the offensive side.
And you almost get that feeling that the longer Iran can stay in this match, that they're going to make their way back in this. So many missed chances from Saudi Arabia. You'd have to think easily Saudi Arabia should have been up 3-4-0 at this point.
Chance inside. Mansour off his line.
You see that's better. While it's giving up the foul in the midfield, you see the spaces starting to be closed down. Iran's forcing that ball to go backwards. It's the difference than what we saw in the first half. Saudi Arabia able to recover the ball in the midfield, turn, get their head up, look to combine forward. Now a little bit of a mentality change. The spaces are closing down, and we're finally starting to see the influence from Teymourine and Nekonam in the defensive midfield slots.
So Al Shalhoub, the 27-year-old, done after 67 minutes and change. And Omar Al-Ghamdi. Al-Ghamdi, 29-year-old. Saudi Arabia will come into the match here in minute 68. Does that change the tactics at all, Brian?
I think it's an interesting choice, because anytime you take Al Shalhoub out, he's been one of your main creators. He's been a guy who's worked hard in the midfield, dug out balls, got his head up, looked to combine with Ben Saltine and Al-Hassadi. So the question is Al-Ghamdi going to sit back and defend more? Because you're going to lose that pushing presence in the midfield by taking out Al-Shalhoub.
So maybe here for Al-Jahar, maybe just a move to really kind of say, hey, we're happy with the one-goal advantage. We're going to focus our attention on defending here for the final 20 minutes or so.
Or maybe that Iran is having such better possession. Maybe he feels like a breakthrough is coming. He needs a little bit more support. Look to close things up just a little bit more in the midfield.
And another shot of one of the substitutes for Saudi Arabia that we might see in the next bit here, Yasser Al-Ghattani. That ball slips through. Ben Sultan has some pace. Left-footed effort. Over the top.
And you have to wonder how many opportunities it's going to take for Ben Sultan. Right here, he slips through. Good little challenge from behind. He's got his head up, but he doesn't force the keeper to make a save. He's got to put that ball on frame. Even if it drops for a rebound, a little bit of a save, you've got to hope that your players are following up. Al-Hatharthi in a decent position. But ball's over the top from inside the inside the 18-yard box. With that kind of look, just isn't good enough.
And there is the aforementioned Yasser Al-Ghattani. Saudi Arabia backing off a little bit on the high-pressure defending, specifically here in the midfield. You can see they're content to keep numbers back behind the ball. See if Iran can unlock the defense, though. Cleared away by Otaif. 20 minutes remaining in this one.
And you just see the Iran front line pushing higher and higher. Zandi, Sojai really right underneath Hashemian. Right here, a good move, taking off Ben Sultan. Really nothing he was going to be able to do today. He was getting the looks, just wasn't able to put the ball in the back of the net.
And you can hear the cheers from the crowd here at King Fahad Stadium. Might one of these two changes that Al-Jahar made in the last couple of minutes have an effect on the match.
Another player we thought we'd see from the start, Al-Qahtani, who a player in a lot of circles is thought to be one of the best Saudi Arabian players. Surprising not to see him from the start. And maybe the head coach, Al-Jahar, having a bit of a mentality, bring in more of a defensive-sided player, then bring in a full-out attacking player who won't have the same defensive responsibilities. More of a tactical adjustment, defensive to offensive, allowing your team to even itself out.
Nice little ball over the top, trying to spring the attack down the left side here, and that one out for a throw for Iran. Monday, the 8th of September. Make sure you tune in at 8 p.m. Eastern Time live here on FSC. It is Fox Football Phone-In. Join Stephen Cohen, Nick Webster, the rest of the Fox Football Phone-In crew. Have your say, call in, email, text. That is Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, live on Fox Soccer Channel. Nice little ball over the top. Chance at the backside. And the save there from Mansour. But two attacking runs inside the area for Iran. It's getting closer, Brian.
And keep an eye on the keeper, Al-Naji. Ball's up over the top. He comes out, hesitates just at the split second. And we see a great late run coming up from the defensive midfield slot, the captain, Nekanab. Just a little redirection, causing problems.
Wasn't exactly dealt with completely cleanly by Mansour, but he did enough to poke it away and eventually turned into a corner chance for Iran.
You start to see the quality of the number 9, Hashemian, when that ball's whipped in, inside the penalty area, making hard runs, getting away from the defenders. He hasn't been successful with the ball at his feet, but we've seen with the service, he's been close to getting on the end of a few opportunities.
Ramati off his line to take that chance away. And temper's starting to flare a bit at the back. Tukar has been very physical back there, and maybe it's starting to take its toll. Although Khatibi just coming in here as a second half substitute.
You see the challenge from behind. Abdullah taking a forearm. Here's another look at that, just that ball dropped over. You see the defender, Aguili, arm up in front of the runner, not allowing him to get inside.
There again is that possession graphic starting to even back out. I think that's a pretty safe bet because Iran has picked things up here in the second half.
Yeah, a bit more realistic than what we saw in the first half. Iran doing a good job, especially in that midfield third, regaining more possession and getting into the attack with better numbers. As
we work our way into the final quarter of an hour of this one, it is still Saudi Arabia on top, but Iran starting to at least knock on the door and threaten just a bit. Just out of play on the left side.
Ball just barely knocked out that time by Al-Sarte. But that opportunity was the first time we've seen a 3v3 in the back. Right here, closing down space. Team Iran Really haven't seen his influence as much as we'd like. Been overrun quite a bit from the Saudi Arabian midfield.
Long service and over the top of the crossbar as Mansour makes sure he sees it clear. And another change here for Iran as Timourian, the 25-year-old, done here in the 76th minute. And Jabari comes in here.
Ali Daei making the changes to really get himself into the attack. Taking out a holding, more of a holding midfielder in Timourian. Bringing in the attack-minded Jabari. Nice little tactical adjustment considering there's only 15 minutes left in this match. You're on the road. You don't want to be giving up too many goals, but if you can get yourself back in this game and get a draw on the road, get a result, it's going to be a good start for the qualification process.
Second corner of half number 2 for Iran as that ball was deflected out. Mansour did his best to try and get the gloves to it to keep it in. Here's another look. Here is Jabari just coming in. He'll deliver the corner. Near post. Headed away by Saudi Arabia. Kept alive, and maybe now a chance for the Saudis to go off on the attack. Big switch to the right side. Gamdi had trouble bringing it under control there. Out wide. Shojai serves it in. Ryan, you said that Al-Jawhar, the coach for Saudi Arabia, making some changes and a little more defensive minded, and you can see that they've actually really gotten numbers behind the ball and almost, you know, you hate to say it, but bunkering in a defensive posture. We know how that can work out from time to time.
Yeah, we see the two changes with Al-Qahtani coming in and Al-Ghamdi coming in. You're taking off Ben Sultan, who wasn't effective in front of the net, but he still brought a little bit of something, forcing the defenders to stay with him. He had that speed, that agility. No Al-Shloub, he was extremely dangerous throughout the first 60 minutes. So now you start to drop in. We saw just a little bit more possession coming from Iran, and with the changes they've made, with the substitute of the number 11 Mandanchi, the number 10 Katiba, and now Jabari, 3 players more attack-minded. That's why we're seeing better possession in the last 15 minutes.
And Tukar is actually going to ask for some assistance to get the 32-year-old off the field. Good look at King Fahad Stadium there. As we wind into the final 10 minutes of play here in Riyadh, and Iran starting to threaten just a bit more. Lofted ball to the back post, kept alive inside the area, just miss hit, and it'll trickle wide of Al-Najeh Mansour and the Saudi Arabia goal.
Once again, Iran pushing and pushing, coming closer and closer. We saw the number 9, Hashemian, just putting the ball down inside the 6-yard box. The ball's not cleared. That man, Al-Najeh, really shaky coming off his line. He's been great in the punch. hasn't been that confident in his feet. We haven't seen him catch a ball in a while.
And it looks like a yellow here for the goal scorer, Al Harthy.
And he's been having a moan at the referee last 10, 15 minutes. Anytime he's challenged around the box, he's going down easy. Right there, taking the yellow card for the handball.
Nice little overlapping run up the right side. And miscommunication. Ball's poked out by the captain, Suleimani. And this will be fourth corner of the match for Iran, their third of half number 2.
And once again, another bad decision from your captain, this time giving up the corner kick. We've seen him leave players unmarked throughout the first half.
Here's a service in toward the near post. Loose ball at the back! Iran has pulled level. The captain, Nekonam, there on the back post to head it in. And we're all even at 1-1.
We talked about it, leaving Iran just enough room to get back on the scoreboard when it should have been 3-4-0. Not able to finish. And it's a set piece. Watch the ball bounce. Initially, little knockdown. How many players are stuck outside the 6-yard box? There's nobody on the back post for Al Naji. And you've got to think if there was a player there, it would have been a different story. But the initial knockdown, the follow-up, the good backdoor run from Nekonam, the captain. And it's just the knockdown from the number 18, Sojai. And just the follow-up allows Iran to get back in this game 1-1.
Tell you what, too, Brian, usually when you see that ball, Sojai did well to head it down. Usually on that ball, typically, you see a guy with a glancing header maybe popping it up a little bit to try and get it to the back post, but heading the ball down and right into the path of Nekonam, who did the rest of the work from there.
And it's so difficult to judge for a keeper when that ball is bouncing. You don't know where it's going to end up. But for me, it's the defending, it's the challenging. With Sojai being able to go up and get his head to that ball completely unchallenged. And then secondary, nobody staying with that ball in the back post. No one staying with the goal scorer, Nekonam. It just shows you how easily the game can change in a heartbeat. And for a team that's been so good, doing the little things so much better all game long, getting to the second ball quicker, closing down the space faster, moving the ball as quickly as possible. It's that one set piece where they get lazy and they've been absolutely torched.
And maybe is there a response to come back in the form of a winner? Just wide off of the left foot of Al Ghahtani.
Great little turn, opens up his body, gets his hips square, and just pushes it wide. He's got that pressure, good closing down space. And the keeper, Ramati, doing a good job staying big, taking away that near post, forcing him to really go for that far post. But you got to wonder, in a result like this, after playing so well and not closing it out, if the caretaker head coach Al Jahar is going to have a job come tomorrow.
Well, specifically, I think that probably the press will want to look at some of the changes that he made, bringing in some defensive-minded players when yet it would seem to be the attack of Saudi Arabia that was keeping Iran off balance.
If you think about the decision-making process that Al Jahir, the head coach for Saudi Arabia, had to go through, you saw a little bit more of the ball in the Iranian midfield. But to make those substitutions so early, in the 68th and 70th minute, you're leaving 20 minutes for Iran to get back in the game. You start to drop deeper. You start to see more breakdowns. And we really haven't seen good possession like we saw in the first half for Saudi Arabia in the offensive third. Really spreading out Iran's midfield and defense, pulling out their players, and not having Bin Sultan and Al-Shaloub checking in, getting the ball off their feet, and then moving hasn't really forced Iran to stay with.
Maybe a chance here for Iran again. And over the crossbar. There certainly has to be some reason for concern right now if you're a fan of Saudi Arabia.
And that's a big chance right there from Katibi. That ball's bouncing in. You've just snuck past Takar. He's made that leaping last-ditch effort. Hassawi's not close enough. And for Katabi, he could have been the hero. Just did not keep his head down on that volley.
Second time here in the last 10-15 minutes or so that we've seen Takar down. And you could see that the captain, Suleimani, was waving the training staff off to leave him alone. But he'll have to step off for just a moment. And it looks like a yellow card to Mansour for a little bit of the time-wasting tactics here, maybe hesitating to put the ball back in play, or did they give that one to Takar? And there's your confirmation. So it is the center back for Saudi Arabia, Takar, that picks up the yellow. Will one of these two sides find a late winner here as we are into the final 3 minutes?
I think one of the questions we had before the match started was Ali Daei. His choices, bringing people in the squad, leaving certain players out. No Karimi, no Metavikia. We saw that attack really lacking in the first 45 minutes. But as far as his substitutions, starting with Mandanchi, the number 11, bringing in Katiba at the 63rd minute, and then Jabari for Teymourian. I think we've seen some smart tactical moves really leading to the opportunities for Iran to get back into this match.
And Iran now look like the more explosive team, the team that has a better energy level heading into the last couple of minutes. Free kick goes against the home side.
Nice little battle right here. You see Mandanchi holding off Al-Ghamdi. Al-Ghamdi just trying to get to the ball. But you see the way Mandanchi was applying his arm to the chest area, putting himself between the ball and the defensive player, and just able to hold him off.
Hashimian trying to turn the corner there to make his way into that final third. Wishful ball surging forward, out for a goal kick here for Saudi Arabia. There is your indication. 3 minutes of stoppage time. So as we tick these next 10 seconds away, about 4 minutes left in the match.
And if you're thinking about this from a player's perspective, for Saudi Arabia, you were so good in the first half. Second half, really below average as far as finding your way back in, finishing this game off. You've got 4 minutes. Do you look to move the ball quickly? Do you look to get ball into play? Or are you content with sitting back and getting a 1-1 draw at home? It's not the worst way to start off this entire group phase that goes through the end of June of next year. But definitely not the way you want to start. You want to get those 3 points at home. And for Iran, do you continue pushing? Or do you kind of sit back and be happy with that 1 point?
I guess we will find out the answer to that over the next 3.5 minutes. But just to further on your point, I think that especially for Saudi Arabia, because they could have been up 3-0 easily at halftime if they finish a couple more chances during that first 45 minutes. When they look at the tape, they're going to be, I would be almost certain, going through some serious finishing drills over the next little bit here. Into stoppage time we go. First of 3 minutes now underway. Ramati, long punt back the other way. And out for a throw here for Iran. You can see some of the fans making their exit from King Fahd Stadium. As you mentioned, Brian, this the first game in the round 4 of qualifying for these two teams. And both teams will have to wait a bit until they have their next qualifying matches.
Saudi Arabia hitting the road on Wednesday. They'll be at UAE, United Arab Emirates. And then for Iran, they're going to be at home on October 15th against North Korea. Tomorrow's game, North Korea versus tomorrow's game, North Korea versus South Korea on Wednesday. That'll be an interesting match to keep an eye on. And it's a very, very difficult group with North Korea, Iran, South Korea, Saudi Arabia, and UAE. Really no pushovers in that group. The other group stages, Australia, Bahrain, Japan, Qatar, and Uzbekistan. You've got to think Australia and Japan are the favorites going through that stage.
And again, we will have, as Madanchi showing a yellow card there, we will have several of the matches for you here on Fox Soccer Channel. Brian and I will bring you the North and South Korea match next week. Into the final minutes of stoppage time here. Not quite as happy up there in the booth, in the box I should say, as they were in the first half when Al Harthi, 29 minutes in, gave Saudis the 1-0 advantage. Free kick here to be taken from the back.
And you see how quickly they want to get the ball back up in the air, the forwards.
Follow-up chance here for Saudi Arabia. And the whistle comes in here from Mark Shields. And it's going to be a golden chance as the 3 minutes of stoppage time are up. So you would have to think this will virtually be the last kick of the ball in this one. And you can see on the Iran bench, nervous moments right here as they know they have to make one last stand here in order to keep this 1-1 result intact.
And this will be a fight for the ball with Ashlub, the number 10, being substituted off. It's going to be between the captain, Suleimani, the number 13 left footer, and the number 8, Atef. Perfect range, perfect distance, right in front of the middle of the goal, about 25 yards out.
And everyone on their feet here at King Fahd Stadium. The 24-year-old Atef with the right foot. And here it is. An extra minute already added on. Atef, big ball, well off target, wasted chance there. And in comes the final whistle from the Australian referee, Mark Shields, to bring this one to a close. And it is a 1-1 result. Brian and I will step aside.